moves forward. We'll show you which state has reached a deal on tough new legislation. Plus, the nuclear threat in North Korea, why the country is starting up a dormant reactor. And how one California family is taking on the Audubon Society all over a piece of land. All this and much more tonight on NewsWatch. In the wake of the murders at Sandy Hook, Connecticut, lawmakers have agreed on some of the toughest gun control laws in the country. Good evening, everyone. I'm Wendy Griffith. They could soon go into effect, but supporters of the Second Amendment say tighter gun control is not the answer. John Waggy reports they have another proposal in tonight's top story.
The Connecticut gun control measure has bipartisan support and could be signed into law soon.
The strategy is to have worked together to craft a piece of legislation that people believe can get done, and that's the piece of legislation we'll be hearing on Wednesday.
Among other things, the law would ban sales of high-capacity ammunition magazines, require background checks for private gun sales, set up a statewide dangerous weapon offender registry, said to be the nation's first, and require immediate universal background checks for firearm sales. Parents of some of the children murdered in last December's attack at Sandy Hook School want the law to go further, to allow confiscation of large-capacity magazines even from those who already own them.
We specifically want an up or down vote on the banning of these large-capacity magazines with no grandfathering clause. We ask ourselves every day, every minute, if those magazines had held 10 rounds, forcing the shooter to reload at least 6 more times, would our children be alive today?
The parents say they hope the new restrictions will help prevent tragedies such as Sandy Hook.
It's our job to make sure it doesn't happen for our son.
And I think everybody needs to think about it and look into their hearts and try to do what's necessary to make the changes that have to happen.
But another Sandy Hook parent was on hand for a different proposal by the NRA. That proposal, a National Shield program for schools, would enable school employees to carry firearms and would promote security and safety programs coordinated with state and local governments.
I'm putting out any experts out there to do something with these recommendations, to implement solutions so people don't have to go through what I'm going through.
John Waggy, CBN News.
Gun ownership will now be mandatory in one small town in Georgia. Last night, the City Council of Nelson voted to approve the Family Protection Ordinance. It mandates every citizen own a gun, but does not punish those who refuse to comply.
This ordinance was a security sign for our city. That just basically it was a deterrent ordinance to tell potential criminals you might want to go on down the road a little bit before you come kicking down a door with a family in Nelson.
Love that Georgia accent. Opponents argue the ordinance is ineffective and, quote, an exercise in political Tea Party rhetoric. Other states and communities have tightened their gun laws after the Newtown massacre in Connecticut. Once again, North Korea is raising the tensions in Asia, this time by taking another step in building up its nuclear program. North Korea's move could lead to more nuclear weapons and a possible threat to the United States. Ephraim Graham has our story.
The fear of a war with North Korea continues to grow, with the regimes mounting threats against the U.S. and South Korea. The latest move in the nuclear standoff, leader Kim Jong-un says he will restart a dormant reactor in his main nuclear facility, one that has the ability to produce material for 1 atomic bomb per year. The reactor was shut down in 2007 as part of international nuclear disarmament talks. This marks the first time North Korea admitted the reactor would be used to make nuclear weapons. When it was first unveiled, the North insisted it was to generate electricity. Even with this latest round of threats, the White House says there's no evidence Kim Jong-un will actually act.
Despite the harsh rhetoric we're hearing from Pyongyang, we are not seeing changes to the North Korean military posture, such as large-scale mobilizations and positioning of forces.
Meanwhile, the Washington Free Beacon reports China has begun activating troops near the Korean peninsula. China is obligated to defend North Korea under a treaty between the two countries, and the U.S. is responding to North Korea's threats with a show of force, sending stealth B-2 bombers, F-22 fighters, and now a U.S. Navy destroyer to the region.
And we believe this has reduced the chance of miscalculation and provocation.
North Korea claims it's working towards nuclear-tipped missiles that can reach the United States. It's not believed to currently have the technology, but U.S. military bases in the region would be within range of a North Korean strike. Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
Last month marks the deadliest month in Syria since protests there began 2 years ago. More than 6,000 people were killed in what is being called Bloody March. A third of those victims were civilians, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. Those killed include 291 women, nearly 300 children, and over 1,400 rebel fighters. The UN reports show that 70,000 people have died since protests began against Assad's regime. Here at home, the battle over gay marriage is heating up again in Rhode Island. It's the last state in New England to hold out for traditional marriage. Already, the Rhode Island House has passed a gay marriage measure, and the governor supports it. That leaves the matter up to the state Senate. CBN News spoke with Chris Plant from the National Organization for Marriage.
Marriage hangs on a knife's edge in Rhode Island. There are 2 senators who sit on the Judiciary Committee who have professed their support of traditional marriage, yet have not committed to voting no in committee, and that is going to be a problem for us potentially.
And to see that complete interview, you can visit our website, cbnnews.com. New Jersey lawmakers are one step closer to banning children from receiving reparative therapy for homosexuality. Some say so-called conversion therapy has sparked a culture war between those who believe people are born gay and those who believe it's a learned behavior. The New Jersey bill would outlaw the practice for people younger than 18. It now heads for a full Senate vote after passing in committee. California legislators passed a similar ban last year, but an appeals court ruled it violates the First Amendment. Stockton, California is officially bankrupt. A federal judge has ruled that the city cannot pay its bills and has no other options. Stockton is the most populated city in America to declare bankruptcy. Several factors contributed to the city's crisis: plummeting property values, a decrease in sales and tax revenues, and generous benefits for city employees. City officials will begin negotiating with the city's creditors to make smaller payments on the millions they're owed. Lawmakers for the creditors insist the city has not tried hard enough to find the money. The fight over a portrait of Jesus has graduated from a middle school to a high school in Ohio. The picture had been hanging in Jackson City Middle School, but complaints from the American Civil Liberties Union and the Freedom from Religion Foundation forced the school to remove it. The portrait was moved to a wall in the city high school. Now the two groups are complaining again. They say the picture unconstitutionally promotes religion and are asking a court to prohibit its display. Teenagers are setting themselves up for a high risk of heart disease in the future because of their lifestyle. A new study from the University of Oklahoma finds that teens are eating processed food and snacks along with sugary drinks. They're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and they're not getting enough exercise. And once heart problems develop in childhood, they're likely to remain with a person as they get older. And joining us now is Dr. Linda Mintle. She's a family therapist and author of the book, Raising Healthy Kids in an Unhealthy World. Linda, thanks so much for coming in today.
My pleasure to be here.
Now, this epidemic of unhealthy kids and teens seems to be raising quickly. What's behind this trend?
Well, there are two basic big changes that have made a difference. And one is obviously the change in our lifestyle. And that includes so many different things that we really don't have time to talk about, but definitely the more sedentary lifestyles that all of us are living. And then, of course, Wendy, all the changes in nutrition and the number of processed foods that we're all consuming and the amounts of soda and just the unhealthy choices that we're making in terms of our food consumption.
Now, a lot of people point the finger at parents. Is that fair?
Yes and no. I mean, parents obviously set the stage for teaching their children how to eat well. And so you have to begin at an early age. But I'm also a mother of a teenager, and I know that I did everything right by the book when my kids were little. But when they became teenagers, and they're also doing what adults do, they're reaching for the convenient foods, for the processed foods, for the things that are in front of them that may not be the healthiest choices. So parents need to be role models and keep talking to their kids, but kids have to learn to make their own choices when they become teenagers.
What are some practical ways parents can help make sure their kids are making healthy food choices?
Well, one of the biggest things I think that made a big change in our household was I kept a big bowl of fruit out on the kitchen table. And so when kids were struggling with, wanting something to eat real quick and they wanted to reach for something, there were bananas and apples, and we would have berries in the refrigerator with some maybe fat-free light whipped cream that they could put on there instead of ice cream. So keeping that available. Another thing that I really think helps teenagers a lot is giving them some apps that they can download and they can carry with them on their cell phones. So they can look at an app and they can go to a fast food app and they can say, oh, this is a better choice than that. Or even when they go to a coffee shop and they're ordering those high calorie drinks, to look at those drinks online and begin to see which one of those is maybe the best choice. The other thing that really is just an easy choice that kids can make, teens can make, is just to say, I'm going to drink water instead of any of the sodas or any of the high calorie drinks. That will go a long way to help them with making better choices.
Yeah, and I brought my gym clothes to work today so that I can't not go to the gym. So I think it's, physical activity for kids and adults is crucial.
It's critical. And here's the good news about exercise with teens. Not only does it help them with their weight, but of course they're still developing. So it also helps with bone development, brain development, and a number of other physical conditions. It also makes them less anxious and less depressed. So exercise has multiple benefits, not only on the food side, but also with our mental health, our physical health, and even with our spiritual health, because it releases things in the brain that impact our mood and make us feel better about ourselves.
Yeah, great advice for kids and adults. Well, for more on her book, Raising Healthy Kids in an Unhealthy World, you can visit our website, cbnnews.com. Dr. Linda, thanks so much for your time.
For having me.
Well, scientists study particles smaller than an atom, but humans have yet to unlock the mysteries of the brain. President Obama today announced plans to change that. His new BRAIN initiative is designed to accelerate the development and application of new technologies to better study the brain. The hope is to eventually find cures for ailments like epilepsy, schizophrenia, and Alzheimer's. He's asking Congress for $100 million to get the project off the ground. Coming up, how Walmart is helping some people ease the pain at the pump.
Someone once said, life doesn't give do-overs. But that's not entirely true.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
I'm Kurt Warner, and I got a second chance that changed my life. I remember those feelings. I didn't want to fail. I want to give you an opportunity to chase after your dream.
Seriously?
When you know you were meant to do something, you can't let life stand in your way.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
I've been given a second chance.
The Moment, a new reality series hosted by Kurt Warner, premieres Thursday, April 11th at 10, only on USA.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Someone once said, life doesn't give do-overs. But that's not entirely true.
What a remarkable comeback for Kurt Warner.
I'm Kurt Warner, and I got a second chance that changed my life. I remember those feelings. I didn't want to fail. I want to give you an opportunity to chase after your dream.
Seriously?
When you know you were meant to do something, you can't let life stand in your way.
This is what I've been trying for so many years.
I've been given a second chance.
The Moment, a new reality series hosted by Kurt Warner, premieres Thursday, April 11th at 10, only on USA.
Welcome back. A little relief at the pump this week. Gas prices have dropped to a national average of $3.65 a gallon for regular gas. The Energy Department says that's down 4 cents from a week ago and down 30 cents from this same time last year. But while gas prices are down, some analysts say it's not going to last. Prices up to $4 a gallon have been predicted. It's fairly typical for gas prices to raise this time of year ahead of the summer driving season. Well, Walmart is offering a new discount to its customers and is helping take away some of that pain at the pump. It's part of a push to increase lagging sales. But whatever the reason, it's good news for consumers. Charlene Israel reports.
The company known for rolling back prices in its stores is now rolling back prices at the pump. Commuters in 21 states can save as much as 15 cents a gallon until July 7th.
Who doesn't want cheap gas?
The only stipulations, consumers must purchase the gas using a Walmart credit card or money card. Experts say the new program is a result of low sales.
Walmart sales have been flat for nearly 3 years, and Consumer Reports rated Walmart as one of the worst rated retailers in the U.S. So Walmart with lower prices is trying to get shoppers back.
Walmart has blamed January's tax increases for a tough start to this year, but competitors like Costco aren't helping sales either.
Walmart views Costco as Walmart's worst nightmare, whether it's in North America or any other area of the world where the two go head-to-head.
Nevertheless, gasoline prices account for roughly 4% of the average American's budget, and 10 to 15 cents off a gallon won't go unnoticed.
Hopefully it's good quality gas. Walmart's known to be affordable, mainstream, but then again, it's kind of cheap.
Charlene Israel, CBN News.
Gotta love Walmart. Well, the final episode of the Bible miniseries on the History Channel had a huge audience Easter Sunday. Early estimates show that 11.7 million viewers tuned in. That's up 14% from the week before. The final installment included the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus. The success of the series makes the History Channel the top cable network for the month of March, and a very appropriate viewing for Easter Sunday. Well, up next, why one family decided to fight back against what they call the tricks of the Audubon Society.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No!
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
Your dryer runs forever, and your clothes still come out damp? Now you can speed up your dryer by up to 15 minutes. Introducing the Lint Lizard. It's like a magic wand that cleans deep into any dryer. The flexible Lint Lizard attaches right to any vacuum hose. Look how much lint we got out of this dryer. All this lint that escapes past your lint screen. Yuck! A clogged dryer works harder. All that lint can even burn out your motor. Or worse, it can start a dangerous vent fire. It's a full 40 inches long and cleans deep into your vent system, grabbing all the packed-in lint that's choking your dryer. After a quick cleaning with the Lint Lizard, your dryer vent is clear, making it work less and run more efficiently. Old-fashioned lint brushes pull out some lint, and the lint gets everywhere. The Lint Lizard cleans deeper and sends the lint right into your vac bag. Vacuuming between machines and under appliances is a snap. Take it outdoors to vac your outside vent. So before you spend a fortune on costly repairs, order your lint lizard for just $10.99. Call right now and you can double your order. And that's not all. We'll also include the dust lizard. It attaches to any vac and adjusts to any position. The dust lizard goes where no other attachment can. Clean delicate electronics, tedious air vents, tiny tile crevices, crumbs from corners, dirt from slider tracks, places you could never vacuum before, even expensive sculptures and intricate chandeliers. Plus, the lint lizard comes with a money-back guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied, return them and keep the dust lizard. You get it all, 2 lint lizards and the dust lizard for $10.99. Call now and find out about free shipping.
Call 1-800-373-2150 and get your lint lizard. But call now and you can get a special offer on a second lint lizard and the dust lizard with your order. So call 1-800-373-2150 and find out about free shipping. That's 1-800-373-2150. Call now.
The Audubon Society enjoys a reputation as wholesome as the Girl Scouts for saving birds and conserving the wilderness. But one family in California accuses Audubon of lying and using dirty tricks so it could take their land. Paul Strand brings us tonight's Focus Report from the Golden State.
The French brothers Sever wanted a family retreat and began buying land high up in the Mayacamas Mountains in 1924. Their descendants grew into 5 families who enjoyed most summers, holidays, and major events all together in this mountain paradise called the ranch.
The ranch was the lifeblood, the glue that held the family together.
But a fire in 2004 burned down 3 of their houses.
Torched this whole thing. Well, we lost everything.
Leah's son Mike says they wanted to rebuild, but they ran into a roadblock from a surprising source. It was their next-door neighbor, the National Audubon Society, known for bird watching and conservation. Well, it said no to the families upgrading roads that crossed its land so they could get construction crews to their ranch. Then Audubon hit them with the bombshell that it owned some of their very best acres.
It was like being hit in the stomach, the wind knocked out of you.
Audubon brought out survey maps to bolster their claim. Mike's brother Phil said that boundary would push their new houses.
Approximately 300 yards up the hill, way up in that upper meadow up there.
So you would have to build your houses up on top of that.
Virtually impossible. This is the only flat area.
Then the family's lawyer says Audubon gave them all an ultimatum.
If you don't agree, we're going to go out and build a fence on that line, and if you try to interfere, we're going to call the police.
In court documents, Audubon insists it's legally bound to preserve wilderness and couldn't just hand those acres back to the family once it believed it owned them. It also claims it bent over backwards to work out a deal. But Phil heard a much different side from the organization.
This property has never, ever been yours. Get over it.
Phil and his family accuse Audubon of simply coveting their land.
It really bothers me that, they'd come out here and try to take something that's ours.
The families decided to fight. That decision led to a years-long effort to prove the land was theirs. They filled a suitcase with evidence, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and sacrificed much more.
Thousands and thousands of countless hours.
Brothers Mike and Phil spent months battling the brush to find original surveyor's marks. They already had full-time jobs. This was like adding a whole new one. And in some cases, this extra burden did more harm than good. And with all this going on, the family still couldn't rebuild, cut off from their piece of paradise and family.
You have family reunions, you're always having holidays, and then it's just an abrupt stop.
And this whole debacle has just torn all of it apart.
One family elder testified he believes it was stress from the legal battle that was the cause, the underlying reason, for the 3 strokes he suffered and survived. Then a stunning surprise. Audubon caved and said it would accept the original property lines.
They completely capitulated.
Why? Maybe Audubon feared this. Last year, a subpoena uncovered Audubon originally held back some of the map surveys and altered the ones presented to prove its claim to the land.
It took whiteout, and we have the emails from Audubon's very top people talking about putting whiteout on the maps.
We actually call it Whiteout Gate now.
Removing the lines that its surveyor had put on its maps that Audubon didn't like, showing that the boundary really was in the right place all along.
This screamed lies and cover-up to the families.
7 to 8 years of hard work, when they knew from day one that this was never their property. Ever. They knew it.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe anybody would do that. I wouldn't do that to another human being, period.
Now the families are suing for fraud. Audubon admits it didn't give them all the surveyor's maps, but says that's because not all were relevant. And it says it whited out only extraneous lines. So the group calls this lawsuit frivolous, demanding the families pay its legal bills. Family members refuse to give an inch because all these years of legal war have certainly cost them.
It's affected everybody mentally, physically, emotionally.
No matter what happens with this case, one thing that can never be replaced for this family is all those years of going to their mountain paradise together, getting to know one another, learning to love one another. The cost of that, well, that's priceless. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Mountain Country in California.
Up next, we'll look at how CBN's Superbook is spreading the gospel in Mexico.
Ow, my feet hurt. My feet hurt, your feet hurt. White hot pain, I wanna cry. Is there anything I can try?
Why, yes. Introducing Strut Soul Angels, the human shock absorber that helps alleviate foot pain.
The first 10 steps in the morning to the bathroom were excruciating. Within 3 days after I put Struts on, it's been such a relief.
Slipped it on and almost immediately I felt a support, kind of like a pillow underneath my arches.
The Struts Soul Angel provides a great amount of relief and support throughout the course of the day, providing shock absorption and relief of pain.
On your feet without proper support can be painful. Strut Soul Angels promotes better balance, control, and body alignment. Standing in your heels all day is painful, but slip on Struts and you'll enjoy comfort and support 24/7. Struts is so versatile, you'll wear them in every shoe you own, even barefoot.
I'm on my feet all the time. I teach 11 and 12-year-olds. The pain was so much that I knew I had to do something. And with the Struts, I can do my job and enjoy my job.
I usually am on my feet from 8 to 12 hours a day. When I wear my Struts, it's like giving my feet a hug all day.
It's life-changing. I wear them from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed.
Why pay $400 for custom orthotics?
Now get Strut Soul Angels for just $10. You also get Miracle Foot Repair Cream, absolutely free. Use it to help relieve dry, calloused feet overnight. But wait, call right now and we'll double the offer free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Plus, you get a 100% money-back guarantee. If not completely delighted, send it back. But keep the foot cream as our gift just for trying. You get it all. A $70 value for just $10.
Oh, yes! Love my Struts, love my Struts. The best thing since sliced bread. They heal pain from toes to head. Get yours now, your doctor said.
Struts, be nice to your feet. Call now.
Call 1-800-787-1580 and get your Struts and Miracle Foot Repair for just $10 and we'll double the offer. That's 1-800-787-1580 or visit getstruts.com.
And finally, CBN's Superbook received a powerful audience response after its first airing in Mexico Saturday. The program ran in 31 states on one of Mexico's top television networks. Cadena Tres, known for its extensive weekend children's programming, 3 back-to-back episodes of Superbook were shown: The Miracles of Jesus, The Last Supper, and He is Risen. After the shows, a salvation message was presented and special invitation was given to call CBN Mexico. Callers could receive prayer, take part in a Superbook survey, and receive a devotional. So many callers flooded CBN. Many of them received busy signals, so they began sending messages through CBN's website and on Facebook. One of the largest churches in Mexico, Amistad Christina, also helped promote the Superbook shows with a special event, including an appearance by Gizmo, a character from Superbook. There he is. So far, more than 100 salvations were reported from the shows, and their promotion and more are expected. And that's the good news. And that's going to do it for this edition of Newswatch. Remember, you can email us your comments and questions at Newswatch. That's at CBN.com. We hope you'll join us next time. Until then, from all of us here, have a great night and God bless you.